to call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the Natrona County Planning and Zoning Commission today at 5:30 p.m. First order of business is to introduce our Planning Commission members and staff. My name is Hal Hutchinson. I'm the chair. To my immediate right is Jason Gutierrez, the vice chair. To my left is Matt Mitchell, Planning and Zoning Commission member. Out in front is Trish Shaddis, the planner. And on the far right. Thank you. On the far right is Charmaine Reed, Deputy County Attorney. So this commission is an advisory board of the Natrona County Commissioners. Our decisions are subject to approval, conditional approval, denial, or modification by the Board of County Commissioners. For each application on the agenda, we will hold an official public hearing. The hearings are recorded, and there will be written minutes of each of this meeting. After the commission holds a public hearing, unless an application is tabled or withdrawn, the Board of County Commissioners will hold another public hearing for the application. Tonight, everyone will have an opportunity to address this Planning and Zoning Commission. First, those in favor of an application may address the commission. Then, those opposed to the application may address the commission. Finally, the applicant may give a brief rebuttal. When the chair recognizes you, please come to the podium, or the chair in this case, and clearly state your name and address before giving your comments. You should know this is not a forum for public outcry or speaking from the audience. You must be recognized by the chair before addressing the commission. If a person's conduct is out of order, the chair may give the person a warning. If the person continues the conduct, or if conduct is extremely out of order, the person may be directed to leave immediately. So, with that, to our agenda, the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all please rise and we'll proceed with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The second order of business tonight is consideration of the January 12th, 2021 meeting minutes. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review?
I recommend approval of the minutes. Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Mitchell,
I would second that motion.
second by Commissioner Gutierrez for approval. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 None opposed. I'm going to go ahead and sign these. Okay. Next on the agenda is conditional use permit 20-13, a request by JTL Group doing business as Knife River to permit a conditional use operation of a portable hot mix asphalt plant in the close proximity to a YDOT project occurring on West US Highway 2026 near mile marker 20. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request is by JTL, and the applicant is requesting the conditional use permit to operate the portable hot mix asphalt plant. The parcel is located approximately 10 miles west of the airport between Bucknam Road and Pedro's Pass, and the zoning district is RAM. The parcel is located on the north side of the highway, and here recently we had done a conditional use permit for collector cars just to the west of that, out there by Pedro's Pass, and there was a cell tower that we had also done, so this is heading out that direction. The background, Knife River received a contract with YDOT to pave a portion of Highway 2026. Along with the plant, roughly 20,000 tons of aggregate stockpiles will be placed at the location to be used in making the asphalt. Knife River anticipates setting the plant after March 1st, 2021, and plan on being completed and moved out of the area by July 21st. The conditional use permit criteria, the commission and the board shall require showings concerning all of the following. Will granting the conditional use permit contribute to the overburdening of county services? This conditional use permit will not contribute to any overburdening of county services. There will be no additional county services required beyond the approval of this conditional use permit. Will granting the conditional use permit cause undue traffic, parking, population density, or environmental problems? As part of highway repaving work, there will be traffic-related concerns. These will be addressed using traffic control measures that will be in place as specified by YDOT. The portable asphalt plant is currently permitted by Wyoming DEQ Air Quality Division, and the site will be covered by a large construction SWIP permit issued by WDEQ's Air Quality Division. The proposed finding of fact, permitting the plant at this location will keep truck traffic in the area of construction rather than long-haul trips from town. Additionally, Knife River will follow all environmental requirements as stipulated by DEQ air quality and water quality regulations. Will granting the CUP impair the use of adjacent property or alter the character of the neighborhood? Granting the CUP will not impair the use of adjacent property as there are no neighbors nearby that would have their character altered. Proposed finding of fact, there are no adjacent neighbors within the immediate vicinity of this location. The surrounding area is primarily used for grazing and would not be altered by this permit. Will granting the CUP detrimentally affect the public health, safety, and welfare, or nullify the intent of the development plan or the zoning resolution? Proposed finding of fact, the project will not be a detriment to the public health, safety, or welfare. The project sited in undeveloped areas zoned for agricultural purposes is compatible with the intent of both the land use plan and the zoning resolution. To date, Natrona County Development Department has received no comments on this agenda item, and staff sent public notice to 17 property owners within 1 mile. Staff would propose a motion and vote by the Planning Commission to recommend approval of this agenda item and incorporate the findings of fact that were in your staff report and presented tonight. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Trish. Do the commissioners have any questions for staff?
I just have one question. So, and part of it, they said that a stormwater permit is to be acquired from the YDOQ. The only thing I see is there's kind of a canal going through there. So did that storm permit been obtained, or is that part of the whole DEQ process?
That's part of the DEQ process.
Let's keep it restricted to staff right now. You'll have your opportunity to come up here in just a moment. Thank you. Anything else, Matt? I'm sorry?
I think we're going to get it answered, so
Oh.
no, I don't need further questions.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Trish. So at this time, we're going to open a public hearing for the conditional use permit application. So I'll call a public hearing for conditional use permit CUP 20-13. So we'll start out by asking for all those in the audience in favor to please approach the commission and let us hear what you have to say.
I'm here about subdivision of a property I have at Shin and 12 Mile Road.
Could
Was a tree farm. I operated that way for several years. The trees have gotten too big to be able to move with any of the present equipment I've had or do have.
Sir,
there's equipment that
We're kind of
could
getting
move.
ahead of where we are on
I'm
the
sorry?
agenda. We're getting ahead of where we are on the agenda. This is to talk specifically about the
About
JTL
this
application.
deal? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I don't hear well, sorry, so.
if we can get to you in just a minute, that would be,
Okay,
that would be best,
I thought
please.
you'd indicated I should come forward.
We're
Go back to my
specifically
seat.
talking about the JTL application right now.
Yeah. I have no comments.
Okay, thank you.
Back to my seat.
Please.
I'm Mark Foster, construction manager with JTL Group, doing business as Knife River here in Casper. To answer your question earlier, we have just obtained the stormwater permit from Wyoming DEQ, and within that permit, it does address any of those canals which do happen to be on the uphill side of the site, so no drainage will be running towards those. In addition to that, we have completed, YDOT has a Form E15 that addresses all environmental and cultural impacts that may arise from this site, and that form has been completed with YDOT and has also been approved through YDOT. I do believe that for sure any environmental and cultural impacts have been addressed. Then now it'd just be a matter of if there are any concerns from adjacent landowners. We did determine that there were, I believe, 4 adjacent landowners that we called out in the permit. One was the state of Wyoming, the other one was the landowner who we obtained permission from to utilize the site. The other 2 we sent letters to describing our intentions and have not received any replies. I believe one of them is actually a trust that maybe we will not receive a reply. But otherwise, I'm willing to answer any and all questions.
Mr. Chairman, in the letter here, you indicate you'll be out and reclaimed by August of 2021. Is that still valid?
Yes, and if the schedule holds and we don't get a lot of weather this spring, I intend to have the plant gone by the end of June. Reclamation activities, the topsoil will be respread, but just due to hot summer temperatures, we probably won't reseed the area until the fall, generally after September 1st.
That was all I had. Thank you.
I guess I have a question as far as timing. Does this have a expiration date? I mean, we talked about July 31st in your report. Do we have a year to get it done, or?
Staff did not put a deadline on this permit.
Do we need one?
That's up to you guys.
Okay. I guess typically you'd want to have some kind of time stipulation on this, and, you know, given the uncertainties of the weather, I wouldn't have a problem with having it at the end of the year, but that'd be a suggestion I'd have.
Okay.
Would definitely be agreeable to that.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Foster? Thank you. So Charmaine, I did look up in our booklet about saying it 3 times, and I couldn't find it, so you were right on with your suggestion last time, so thank you. So I will ask again, anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of proposed conditional use permit 20-13?
I've never bought one of these, so I'm not sure how they work.
You're doing fine.
They don't tip over the hearing aids. Anyway, I just had a couple quick questions. I'm not against it because the property owner obviously said it's okay. What he does in his property is his own business.
Could we get your name and address
Oh, I'm
first,
sorry.
please?
My name's Cameron Cannell. I'm at 18,000 US Highway 2026. My gate is mile marker 20, so it's right there.
Okay.
I never received a notification this was even happening until this morning. A neighbor called me, so it's just kind of last minute. I was just curious about, I don't like these things. The access to that area. How are the trucks going to get in and out of there? From looking at the map, it's that 7-acre quarter piece right there. And there's a canal on one side, there's a ditch on the other side. There's, coming off of 2026, there's a guardrail going over the canal. How are they going to access that area with trucks?
Trish, could you pull up on the PowerPoint, the map again, please?
I'm not sure that I have the aerial in there. So
It's showing that,
this one, here's a better map
yes,
for you.
ma'am, I can see that.
Yeah, here's the map of the parcel. There is an access right here.
Okay, so it's going to be on sort of more or less the east side of the canal.
Yes, yes, yeah, there's already an approach right here.
Because I was told it was going to be over here on this corner.
Yeah, no, there's one right here, and this is the area that they're assessing.
Okay. All right, so I'm familiar with that area, so there'd be no problem for the trucks getting in or out or anything. Also, I was told that there would be a stockpile there, that's all going to be cleaned up, and the land will be definitely returned back to its original use.
That's part of the application, as I understand it, is the topsoil will be removed and then replaced along with reseeding. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Foster, but that's the plan. You guys may want to talk here, get some of these.
That is correct.
That whole
We'll
entire
remove the
area,
topsoil,
that's-
stockpile it, and then when we're done, the topsoil will be replaced. If there's a few aggregate piles that are left over, that's up to the landowner, whether he takes possession of that or we remove it off this site. But there will be no large stockpiles left over. That means if there's a lot of stockpiles left there, then I think you might not have lost money on the project.
Sounds excellent to me, it's going to save the county and everybody money. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any questions for is Connell, is that correct? Connell? Any questions for Mr. Connell? Okay, thank you. One last time, anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition to the conditional use permit 20-13? Seeing none, declare the public hearing closed for conditional use permit 20-13. Planning and Zoning Commission, any discussion?
None?
Hearing none, Chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of CUP 20-13, incorporating the findings of fact presented in this hearing and included in our staff report. I'd further add the condition that this conditional use permit would expire December 30th of 2021 or
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of conditional use permit 20-13 signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Conditional use permit is approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission and is set to go to the Board of County Commissioners March, I'm not sure what that date is,
Second.
March 2nd. So, thank you. All right, so next on our agenda this evening is consideration of PS 20-7, and that's a request to divide 70 acres into 3 lots to be known as Heiser Subdivision Number 2. The subdivision is located at the intersection of 12 Mile Road and Shin Road. So with that, do we have a staff report?
Yes. Oh, maybe. There we go, okay. So as you said, the proposed subdivision is located near the intersection of 12 Mile and Shin Road, and it's located on this map, so we're just north of Dusty Lane. and Poison Spider School is about 1.5 miles north of that. All the zoning out in this area is urban agriculture. And the criteria for approval is the subdivision consistent with the development plan. The proposed subdivision is located in neighborhood 12 of the development plan and recommends rural residential development and maintaining the agricultural land. The proposed finding of fact, the proposed subdivision is developed and does comply with the development plan and the zoning resolution. And we've got 1 lot out there that's developed. There's 2 vacant lots. The subdivision will provide for rural residential development with agriculture land. Is the subdivision in conformance with the general provisions and the subdivision design standards? The subdivision has been processed in accordance with the applicable general provisions and subdivision design standards of the 2013 Natrona County subdivision regulations. There is appropriate utility easements and access to all lots. Has the applicant provided evidence that a sufficient water supply system and sewer disposal system will comply with state and local laws and regulations? Lot 1 and 2 will have public water taps provided by the Poison Spider Water District, and Lot 3 has an existing water well which meets all the standards set forth in Appendix P, which is our water requirements. The applicant has worked with the Health Department for septic suitability, and I've provided a letter that I just received from the Health Department that has approved their septics, but just noted that additional percolation and trench tests will be required once the ground thaws and they actually go to develop the lots. Proposed finding of fact, the applicant has met the requirements of the water and sewer studies. Does the subdivision appear to be compatible with the surrounding area and not detrimental to the future development of the area? Staff's proposed finding of fact, there will be no detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the inhabitants of the area and the county. The lots will be used as rural residential lots. And these lots have a 10-acre minimum lot size in the urban ag zoning district. You'll see on the plat that each of these is well over that. They're roughly 23 acres each. Improvement and service district requirements, the proposed finding of fact, access to the subdivision is from 12 Mile and Shin Road. These are both county roads, and an improvement and service district will not be required. This application was sent to Natrona County Road and Bridge for comment, and there were no comments received. Public comment as of tonight's meeting, 1 comment was received. The comment was in regards to further subdividing of these parcels and a potential zone change. Staff would note that any additional subdivision of these lands or zone change requests would be brought back before the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners. As of right now, that has not even been brought up in our department. Staff sent notification to 19 neighbors within 1 mile. And staff would propose that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of this agenda item and include the findings of fact that were in your staff report and tonight's presentation. That's my presentation.
Thank you, Trish. Any questions for staff on this application? Jason?
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Chavez, the Casper Cove Irrigation District has given us a letter that they're not opposed to this. They point out that there's a head gate on Lot 3, and that then the water would have to be, the developer would need to install a pipeline for adequate flow to lots 1 and 2. So is there any easements, or if the future purchaser of Lot 1 bought that, how would he or she get water there from that existing head gate?
It's my understanding that the applicant is working with their engineer and the district to finish that up as far as all the state engineer requirements as well, because that was one of the state engineer's comments. So they're working with them to accommodate that, whether it's by easements before the subdivision's completed. Does that answer your question?
So before the plat's recorded, there would be perhaps some easement language that'll be put in so that if some future purchaser of Lot 1 can access the head gate on Lot 3.
That is my understanding, yes, is that provided that the location requires the easement, then an easement would be recorded for that, and then access granted to the head gate. Is that-
Commissioner Mitchell, any questions? Thank you, Trish. All right, so this is the time and place for the public hearing on PS 20-7, and that is the Heiser edition number 2. So I'll open this public hearing on Heiser edition number 2 application, and invite any wishing to speak in favor, please approach the commission and give your name and address. So, sir, now would be the time to come up if you're in favor of.
Again, my hearing is poor. That's why I quit practicing medicine. I couldn't hear anymore. That's bad for a cardiologist. So if you speak up when you ask me questions.
Could we get your name and address?
Wesley Heiser, Post Office Box 882, Casper, Wyoming. Physically, it's 14991 West Iron Creek, but my mailing address, Post Office Box 882, 82602.
Thank you. So do you wish to address us on being in favor of the application?
I think that's the best use of this land at this point in time. I did operate it as a tree farm, cleared under the state, but the trees got too big, and there's a lot of nice spruce out there if you want to buy some property with good windbreak on it. So I think that's the best use of the property at this point. It's right next to Dusty Lane, where there's a lot of housing already on that road, right behind it.
Okay. I took a drive out there last week, and yes, you do have some beautiful trees on the property.
Yeah, good-sized spruce. Equipment I had, I could move a tree that 6 inches above the ground, 8-inch diameter, and I sold that equipment because the ones I had were not able to handle. They're bigger than that. They're up at 12 inches and the like.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Heiser?
No? Nope.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, we'll call a close to the public hearing. Gentlemen, any questions or comments further?
I just have a question for Commissioner Gutierrez. Is this what you were talking about when they said about the water access? They said they had it from the corner lot and the middle lot. Is that where you were getting at on that? I think it's the one from the Kenneth Moore, project manager.
So this would be the water district, so the poison spider water district, so that would be potable water. My question was more on the Casper Alcova irrigation district, the raw water, the ag water.
Oh, the ag water, okay.
The ag water, so apparently it's delivered to Lot 3 is where the existing ditch is and the head gate. And so some future purchaser of Lot 1 or 2 would need to be able to get legal access to that head gate wherever it's located on 3. And I guess from what I'm understanding from Trish, they're working on getting that through the state engineers and WLC, and they'll have that on the final plat before it gets recorded.
So with this letter, do they have potable water on lot 1 then? Because they kind of said, what they said here, I asked Bill Cossack for a letter from the Poison Spider Water District. They said they can provide water to the corner lot and the middle lot.
That is correct. Both lots 1 and 2 will have public water serviced by Poison Spider Water District.
And is the third the well water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
There it is, yeah.
So I guess I got to have a question. It has to do with the Improvement and Service District application. I see that both Shin Road and 12 Mile are county roads, but are both of those roads that have provisions that basically say the adjacent property owners are responsible for maintenance of the road, or is, but by being a county road, does the county take care of potholes and?
These are both numbered county roads. The county does maintain them. So there was no need for an improvement and service district because there's no public maintenance. It's just county maintained.
Okay. A number of years ago, we had the area up north of town, Antelope Hills, where we had folks come in complaining about the roads and saying the county didn't take care of them, and the county's position, as I recall, was they were not the county's responsibility for maintenance. This is the county's responsibility for maintenance does apply to these, then, I understand.
Correct, to both of
Okay.
those roads.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? Chair would entertain a motion.
I'd move approval of 20-7, PS 20-7, incorporating the findings of fact set forth in this public hearing and included in our packet.
Second?
Okay, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And obviously none opposed. So PS 20-7 passes the Planning and Zoning Commission and moves on to consideration by the BOCC on March 2nd, I understand. Okay, so last but not least on our agenda is Chapter 7, update on the Natrona County Development Plan. And we had, there's Dessa, she's waiting in the wings. So, do we have a staff report?
We do not have a staff report, Mr. Chairman. We are going to let Dessa give you a brief summary of everything that's been done and answer any questions you have. Staff would like to note that we would recommend approval of this update. And then if you have any questions after the presentation, we can go over them.
Okay, so with that, Dessa Dale, would you like to give us a rundown on what your firm has prepared for us, please?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchison and the Planning Commission. Again, I'm Dessa Dale with DJ&A. We updated this Chapter 7 of the Natrona County Development Plan. It's a culmination of coordination between agency stakeholders, public input, and review incorporation of the original Chapter 7 plan, and also review of other county natural resource plans to ensure that Natrona County has really a good communication tool. This document contains an assessment of current conditions for federal and state administered resources within Natrona County. It has updated resource management objectives and priorities and 18 maps to supplement. With approval of this plan, all data used to create these maps will be provided to Natrona County to use in any of their planning processes. And this plan will assist Natrona County in their communication with federal and state agencies on land and natural resource management. So we provided to you a couple months ago hard copies of the plan, and I hope you've had a chance to be able to review and look through it. A lot of the sections that were in there came originally from the template that the governor's office had put forward, and also plan chapter sections were also identified based on current issues or resources that federal or state agencies identify or consider in their planning processes. You guys have any? Do you have any questions at this time?
Any questions?
Yeah,
Matt?
I just have a couple questions. So do all counties have to do this? Like, are you contracted to do this for all the counties? And did the state pay for this, or does the county pay for this, or how does all that work?
Yeah, so there was an initiative that came through with FNRPA funding, that FNRPA funding was provided to the counties if they wanted to pursue completion of a natural resource management plan. It was optional, but there was $50,000 granted towards each county that they could apply for in trying to complete this plan. We currently are contracted by 4 counties, Washakie, Natrona, Park County, and Sublette County. Washakie County at this point has approved their plan. The others are all in various stages of formation. Each county plan, while there is a base template that was provided by the governor's office, is really dependent upon the county. And so we really used the original plans that not all counties had plans, but a lot of them did. And so we looked at the original plan that, for example, Natrona County had to try and get a good understanding of what you currently had in place. And then we reviewed current policies, laws and regulations, and also neighboring county plans that had similar issues to ensure that we were covering any areas of concern or issues that had arisen. We also sat down and talked specifically with Trish and Jason to determine specific issues or concerns that Natrona County has dealt with in planning with resources on federal and state lands to incorporate. And then we use the public survey and some public meetings to also help identify any additional issues that may need to be included within these plans.
Answer your question?
Yes.
Any other questions?
No other questions.
I do not have any.
I have to say, for my review, I was impressed with the incredible amount of detail that was covered in the book from back to front, and I did question, was all of that just for Natrona County? So it does make a little bit more sense that something with that much detail would be best applied on a wider footprint than just here. It'd be a shame to go through all that work just for one county, but I was impressed with the amount of detail and the clarity of what was provided. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So Trish, then you're looking for approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission of the draft, I guess you'll call it, or of the final draft of this Chapter 7, to forward that to the county commissioners?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. We've gone through open houses and worked with the public. It's been sent to federal and state agencies. It's been worked through. It's been out to the public. So we are finally ready to adopt it and move forward to the commissioners on March 2nd.
So one further question. With the change of administration in Washington, I noticed there was some specific stuff there. Are you anticipating any changes? I know there was a section there on climate change. There were numerous things on socioeconomic issues that were delved into. Are we anticipating a need to have to revise this, or are we, as far as we know, are we good to go with this for being our definitive?
I think that we are good to go, but I'm going to defer to Des on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so we recommend, just like with any plan, that the plan is reviewed for, current relevancy at that time. So, in this, we did outline, Trish, I would have to look back whether this was 3 or 5 years, but a lot of counties have determined that they would like to review this plan on a 3 to 5 year basis to determine if there's any needed changes. And so, for example, just because there was a chapter on climate change, for example, or visual resources, those were more based on things that federal agencies address regardless of the political party that currently the administration. However, the priorities really should be based on what is important to Natrona County. And so this plan should be looked at, should be reviewed on a regular basis to really assess whether the resources, that relevancy of the resources is still accurate. We did include the socioeconomic information in the appendice with the intention that you could run those reports from Headwaters, or if new socioeconomic information came forward, you could attach it to the plan and use it. one thing that's really important is with an approved plan, when sitting down as a cooperating agency with a federal agency, for example, the federal agency can use the socioeconomic information presented by the county. The county is considered the expert in the safety, health, welfare, and socioeconomics of their county. And so any information brought forward by the county in the form of this plan, for example, or any information in the resource assessments can be used in that federal planning document that's being done or assessment that's being done. So we did put that socioeconomic information in the appendices with the sole intent of it easily being updated, and at any time you could approve it. So next year, if you decide we need new information, we know we have a big plan coming forward, you could easily attach it and go through a quick review and vote with very little, I guess, full review process.
Okay, thank you, Dessa. I was interested to find that Natrona County is 55% federal, and then on top of that, state, I believe, land ownership. So I knew it was high, but I didn't realize it was that high.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for Dessa or staff? So the chair would entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve the Chapter 7 update for the Natrona County Development Plan dated November 23rd, 2020.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. And obviously none opposed, so the Chapter 7 Natural Resource Plan is presented by DJ&A / Desadale is recommended for approval and sent to the county commissioners for final consideration on March 2nd, I guess.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dessa. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we have on the agenda tonight. Is there any public comment? Seeing none? I'm sorry? Oh, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to give an update. We sent out over 7,000 postcards to the county residents to inform them that we are starting the zoning resolution rewrite. As you know, we have a work session scheduled for next week, next Tuesday, with the Board of County Commissioners. Logan Simpson will be kicking that meeting off, and then we'll follow it up on Wednesday, having the open house at the Agricultural Resource and Learning Center. We'll be there from 4 until 8 p.m. With boards and sticky notes and surveys, all kinds of fun stuff. We've also dedicated a website page with the help of IT, did a fantastic job. And it's going to have updates throughout the process and additional questionnaires that are going to be coming out as we proceed. And we're just really pushing people to check it out and get involved. And once that postcard went out, we started receiving lots of phone calls. So I'm excited to see the public stepping up and getting involved. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
So I'd like to further comment. Thank you, Trish. We're anticipating a 2-year completion schedule for this thing, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and so, Matt, I guess for your information, there's been discussion on a Planning and Zoning Commission representative that would need to be there at each one of the meetings, I guess, and basically be the liaison from the Planning and Zoning Commission to that effort. And Jason, with his experience being on the staff for many years, it just seemed best that he would be best suited to follow up with that effort. So Jason is the liaison on behalf of Planning and Zoning Commission.
But I believe we're all invited to come and attend and
Absolutely.
participate in that, and encouraged for everyone to be there.
And I think I did send out a copy of the postcard and everything for you guys to take a look at. So if you are available, you can stop by, check it out, and then at our next meeting, I'll give you another update.
So as I understand it, basically, any email that would be sent to Jason as far as setting meetings and things like that, we're going to be CC'd. Matt and I will be CC'd on the invitations to those meetings.
So, yes, so Jason's part of our steering committee that we've put together, so they'll be taking care of all of these public meetings. They'll be filtering through the questions and presenting those, and we'll move forward with those up to our stakeholders, and then stakeholders up to the actual plan itself. So it works through a process, and Jason will be at the start of that, so.
Mr. Chairman, perhaps if we get a number of information there, we can put that on the agenda, and I can give you guys an update on where the committees, what we've accomplished and where we're headed, kind of a committee report.
I like that idea.
Okay.
So basically have that as a monthly addition to the Pledge of Allegiance, if you will.
And it may vary. I don't know that the consultant plans on meeting monthly. I think once we hit one point, we'll be looking at probably every 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even 12. So it may be sporadic, but if it does pop up as far as meetings, then I'll update the agenda accordingly.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Trish.
Yes, so this is the website. When you go to the natrona.net and it's /stepping forward, that takes you to our main landing page for the rewrite. As you can see on top, we have the public open house, and there's a questionnaire, and when you click that mouse doesn't work very well. The Natrona Next Stepping Forward, that actually takes you to the survey, which we encourage you all to jump on there and fill it out. And then it gives you a little bit of the project description, what the zoning resolution is, and then it takes you into the survey itself. Then we have the upcoming events and the timeline as far as what we're looking at for the months and what steps we're going to be working on. This may change as we move forward and things either slow down or speed up a little bit, but roughly this is what we're looking at. On the right side under the document library, we have the current zoning resolution, the 2016 development plan, and then we also have the Casper Mountain land use plan on there for anybody that's wanting to take a look at that. And then we'll also be updating the calendar with public open houses, any meetings that we have. Once we get a draft, we'll start attaching draft documents. And then the consultant's also going to be providing us with videos. So if you can't attend the meeting on the 17th, there's going to be a video that will kind of give you highlights of what happened and things that came out of that meeting.
Nice.
So we're going to be trying to document all the steps along the way for this. And then also on the left side is a little bit more information. So you've got our guiding principles, what really guides this document, what we're looking for, and the project description, what is the zoning resolution, the public open houses, the questionnaires, and the stakeholder interviews. The questionnaires, that's going to be one of the ones that will be updated as we jump into new modules. They're going to break it up into sections for review, and so those modules will have its own questionnaires, and we're putting it on Facebook, and so pretty exciting.
So Trish, Logan Simpson is the consultant, and I assume they were selected from a process. And so when did that take place? What is their fee?
So the RFP went out for the zoning resolution rewrite about a year ago. It's been a while. And we worked through a couple of the different applicants. We ended up going with Logan Simpson. They met the requirements that we had, and we've previously worked with them for Mills and Casper, and they're a fantastic consultant.
Out of Denver?
Yes, yep, they're in Fort Collins. And so we've had a chance to look at a couple other projects that they've had around the different states, and it's impressive. So I'm excited to get them to come in here and actually rewrite this. It's going to be exciting, so.
What is their fee? Do you know?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I would be speculating we can sure look that up.
Yeah, I don't quite remember.
It was enough that I remember being on staff side where we kind of put a pause on things. We went through COVID and price of oil going negative for a time being, and then we knew that this was a very important item. It needed to be done. It's 20 years old. There's a number of areas within the zoning resolution that need clarified. Some of that came before this committee in the form of RVs and campgrounds, and so there's just a number of good topics that need to be ironed out throughout the zoning resolution. So we as staff are very excited to be able to move forward to update this and, hear what the community's voice is and hear what does Natrona County want in their zoning resolution. So we came back, as we looked at our time frame, it actually broke up over several budget years, and so that put it where it was affordable, and so we were able to move forward on a broken down.
So might we expect details like the campground issue on Casper Mountain to be part of what Logan Simpson would cover in the zoning rewrite?
I would say that the answer to that is yes, just because of the fact that it's addressed in the entire resolution in all the different zoning districts. It's not specific to the mountain, and so I think it's something that affects the entire county and needs to be addressed one way or another. So I would suspect it's going to be a part of this entire rewrite, yes.
Okay. After all that discussion we had here, I think it's just still floating out there, as I understand.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, ladies. Anything else for the good of the order? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.